My name is Audrey Matuuto, and I'm so excited to be your personal trainer and talk through our second class now on nutrition. So I'm going to call it 101.2, and we're just going to track our classes with that little decimal there. You kind of get it. I'm going to grab a drink real quick. So I have already started this calculation breakdown for you. So you don't have to wait for me to do all these calculations and whatnot. Getting a little ahead of ourselves here. All right. Just gonna wait maybe 30 more seconds for people to hop on. But of course, this will be posted. And you can watch it on your own time, which will be great. So, yeah, my name's Audrey. I'm a personal trainer at the Rec Center. I'm also a certified health coach and a few other certifications as well, which brings me with you here today. So I could talk about this stuff all day. So I'm going to try to keep it 30 minutes. I'll put on my timer here. Keep myself in alignment, right? All right, so let's get started. Last week we talked about this question, how's my nutrition? And how maybe you can rank yourself in different categories with this, okay? I also gave you some homework. Veggies, I said let's eat 6 to 8 veggies and fruits and see how that goes. So how did it go? You can comment down below. Were you able to hit that? Was it just too high and kind of mind-blowing? Did you get more veggies than you would have if you hadn't tried? Because if so, that's a win, even if you didn't hit 6 to 8. And like I said, 6 to 8 is a lot. So, like for me, if anyone can get them in at breakfast, it's extra credit. I didn't get any today, but after this, I am planning an omelet. So if you get like a serving at breakfast, 1 or 2 servings at lunch, we'll just count 1 if you're just getting started. Maybe work a veggie into your snacks, so some sliced up cucumbers or peppers or zucchini and tomatoes, anything like that. And I know some of those, Audrey, those are fruits. I don't care. It's a good fine line there. But so let's say you're at 3 servings, and then at dinner you get 1 or 2 more. You're at 4 or 5 servings of veggies, okay? And that's pretty dang impressive. From there, maybe you toss in some berries at breakfast. You're at 6. You did it. Maybe you were at 4 veggies, you got berries at breakfast, and you tossed in an apple in your afternoon. That's 6. You did it, okay? 6. So, yeah, how do your fruits and veggies go? And then I didn't put it on there, which, silly me. Your other homework was hydration. How did your hydration go? And we recommended about half your body weight in ounces. All right, so me, I'm about 140 pounds, so I need at least 70 ounces a day. I can tell you, I get that every single day. And I gave tips last week on how you can help yourself with increasing that amount. So if you want to look at those, just scroll back through and find our week 1 nutrition, and you can get some good ideas on how to amp up your hydration, okay? So I'm just gonna clear those off. And please, seriously, share in the comments below, or you can email me, audrey@inspirestrongfitness.com. I would love to hear how your journey is going, because we're gonna keep taking baby steps each week. And even if you weren't here for that one, you can still either hone in on that, or I'm going to give you new homework today. So each week you're going to walk away with something to do, and it's going to make you that much healthier, that much more on the right path to better your health, okay? So today, I did promise last week that we're going to talk about how to plate up your meals, and this will be really life-changing. So much life-changing that I'll probably talk about it in future weeks as well. But before we go there, I wanted to give some educational background knowledge on this overall recommendations from the FDA And these percentages and what they actually mean for our body and how you can start to, implement them into your system of eating. So we have macronutrients. Maybe you've heard people talk about macros or macro tracking, and you haven't known what that really is. Well, macro means like big. So these are the big nutrients that your body needs to survive. It can't create them on its own, right? We have to ingest them. So we have protein. Protein breaks down. Anyone know? Drop it in the comments. Amino acids. So proteins break down into amino acids. So the amino acid is the micronutrient, and micro means really small, right? So we got these macros, and then each of them break down to micros. Now those amino acids, what do they do for their body? I'm a why person. Why do I need protein? Well, it's a building block. Those amino acids actually create our hair and nails, but they're a building block for your organ systems in your body. They give your organs shape and structure, stuff like that. Fats. All right, fats break down into triglycerides, your unsaturated and saturated fatty acid chains. What do fats do for us? Because fats have gotten a pretty bad rap through the years, right? It's back due to newer research and that keto diet that's out there, and that fats are actually good for the body. Ding, ding, ding. So fats, what do they actually do? They insulate us. They are storage of energy. They actually help the proteins do the jobs that they need to do, because some of the proteins are going to be enzymes running like workstations through the body. And so the fats really help out in so many different ways. So our last one is carbohydrates. What do carbohydrates do for the body? Well, they're going to break down into micronutrients that are sugars and energy. So carbohydrates are the main energy source for like your central nervous system, and your brain is part of that. Sorry, my head keeps going, brain, brain, brain. Your heart uses carbohydrates to pump. Your muscles use it, okay? So, and the cool thing that our body does, which is just a little tangent and a side note, if you live in an area of the world where there aren't a lot of carbohydrates, maybe there's decent fats, but you get a lot of protein, your body can take that protein and turn it into these. Your body can take fats and turn it into what it needs. So, into the carbohydrates, because that's your main energy source. And then, anyway, so your body's pretty dang amazing. What I want to get into is this recommended percentage offered by the FDA. This is a big percentage on all of these, right? So I did a little calorie and gram breakdown down here, just so we could talk through it, just so you could visualize, but also that you can know that it is such a big range. And so if you really want to hone in on your journey with your body fat and muscle mass percentages and have an actual composition change, you've got to reach out to either a nutritionist, a personal trainer with nutrition background, someone who can help you hone in and see how your body is going to be adjusting or changing along as you adjust these changes, okay? So I'm going to give you very generalized, like, look, this has really worked for my clients type advice. But if you're ready for like that zoom in, hone in, I'll give you a couple tips and tricks to help you specifically with your body. But just know that all of our bio needs are so different. I break down a banana way different than a 65-year-old woman. I mean, just age alone is gonna change how we digest, how our body reacts to things. I actually saw on Facebook just a couple days ago, my friend from college posted, has anyone had an increase of a food allergy through the years? Like, what is that? And hers was avocado. And all I could respond was, I'm so sorry. If you want to call me, I will cry with you, because I love avocados. So do most people. But my point is, our bodies change, and even food allergies can change, right? I used to love broccoli. I ate broccoli like crazy with my first pregnancy, and I've I've noticed these past 2 years when I eat broccoli, I get the worst stomach ache. And so I can't eat broccoli anymore. It's really strange. So anyway, moving on. Good tangent. So we have our average 2,000 calorie diet. Now, if you're like, I have no idea how many calories my body even needs, well, let's pause and talk through that really quickly. So I have found that with my body, if I eat about 1,600 calories per day, I'll maintain weight. So that's just like a really good roundabout, and that's including my intense workout. And my workouts are usually like with boot camp, we burn about 400 calories. So if I wasn't working out, I'd probably need to be eating about 1,200 calories to maintain weight. So that's kind of something to think about, right? But here's the formula. So I'm just going to use my body weight. So you're going to take your body weight. I'm just going to use about 140 pounds. In my 14th week of pregnancy here, I'm a little bit higher than that. I'm at like 142, 143. But we're just going to keep it simple. So 140 times 11. So you can go ahead and plug that into a calculator. That's going to land me pretty close to 1,600 calories. If you're not currently exercising, and you want to exercise and maintain weight, which is a very small percentage of my clients, but if they're trying to muscle gain and build, then you would plus about 400 calories to that, right? Because if you're going to start working out even harder, you don't want to go into a deficit. And we talked about that deficit last week. If you do want a deficit with your eating regime right now, and you've been plateaued or you've been maintaining this weight, what I want you to do is minus like 300 to 500 calories off of that. So that would put me at 1,300 to 1,100 calories. So if I wanted to lose weight, I would start to hone in on that caloric range, okay? So this is where it gets a little bit tricky, but we're just gonna use the 2,000 calories as an example and go for there. So, sorry, let me hop back here. So this would be like my basal metabolic rate, including my exercise. So really my basal metabolic rate is about 1,200, and then, so I could just call this my base, and then the 400 with the exercise. All right, and then this would be my deficit if I want to lose weight, okay? All right, putting my little example aside, so hopefully that helps you if you want to calculate out your calories. That's a very rough estimate way to do it. I have an Excel sheet that took me like a week to put together that has really in-depth calculations in it, including your age, your heart rate to help find out that basal metabolic rate, and then I break down specific percentages that I've seen for men versus women that have helped with that overall body composition change. So if you're interested in that, again, you can email me. We can set up a Zoom call or a face-to-face at the rec center, and we can get you more specifics. But that's like if you're ready to go there, right? So let's continue to talk on protein, and I'm going to kind of zoom through this. But again, with a 2,000 calorie diet, protein would look like 50 grams to 175 grams. That is such a huge range, you guys. That's tough to work with. So a really good rule of thumb, if you're like, okay, well, where do I start with my protein? A really good rule of thumb is just, so I'll put here protein, 1 gram of protein per 1 pound of body weight, okay? So in my example, 140 pounds, that's me. So I would want to aim for about 140 grams. So you can see that puts me right in that recommended range right there. Okay, so that gives you a good starting point. Bodybuilders will even, there's kind of like a sliding scale, if you will. And there's this old recommended value of 0.6 grams per body weight, per pound of body weight. What some bodybuilders will do is actually calculate this sliding scale up to 1.6, and it's per pound of your body mass, so your actual muscle mass. So you use, fat calipers, find your fat percentage, and then subtract that out of your overall weight, and then you use the weight of the muscle. So again, we see such a big range. So this is a good one to help you get started. 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. And we're just looking at your overall weight, so you can easily step on the scale and boom, you're there, okay? Fats. I think fats really happen just naturally in our diet. They're in meats, they're in the oils we cook with, they're in butter on our toast or whatever. Okay, so fats, as you're gonna see when I talk about how to plate up your food, which I better get to soon because we're already 15 minutes in, fats just kind of happen. And look, the grams are so much smaller. And why is that? Not a miscalculation. Protein and carbs, their caloric, so if you had like 1 gram, their caloric conversion is just by multiplying by 4. If you have 1 gram of fat, it's so dense with its energy packed value that 1 gram of fat, you multiply by 9 to get the calories. So you can see calories end up fairly comparable, even though the grams are so much less, okay? So I think that's kind of cool. So it's just gonna happen typically for you, and you're gonna want to just keep your fats like, almost like a golf ball serving, if you can visualize that. For example, avocado, you just need like 1/4 of an avocado is a serving size. And then a couple tablespoons of oil and you're there, okay? So you can see how easily you're gonna hit your fats. So I don't typically worry about like specific grams of fats. But if you're tracking, you've got a nice about a 30 gram window there to land in. Carbohydrates. Now carbs, again, you see such a big sliding scale there. This was actually a recommended number that I pulled up. I think that 45% might be a little bit lower. But anyway, here's the calories, 900 to 1,300 calories of that 2,000, if that's you, that 2,000 calorie diet. So you've got a good sliding scale there. What I'm gonna have you do today for your homework has something to do with carbs. And you're just gonna track and see if you're landing in this area, okay, of calories or grams, and specifically with sugars. We're gonna hone in on sugars because it's usually the sugar, that sugar addiction that's keeping us coming back for more. And I think that's where I wanna go next week. So I'll be talking about sugars, sugar addictions, and how to kick it. So, make sure you hone in with us next week. Okay, so we're done with all these. Give you a little training on those macros. Awesome. Now for the fun and easy implementation, because I think I shared this last week. Like, I feel like I could give you a specific meal plan and you could follow it for a week or two or a month or two. And then what happens after that time frame when you're like in this deprivation? Boom. A lot of times we bounce back into those old habits because we've been eating that way for 10, 20, 30. I've worked with 70-year-old clients. I mean, that is like 50 years of an eating pattern for the brain. Do you think that's just gonna go away? Nah. So we gotta find a path and a good lifestyle change instead of just, boom, I'm gonna eat like this now, I'm on my diet, boom, I fell off my diet, and it's this black and white world. And I'm gonna talk about this over and over again, that your nutrition cannot be black and white, you guys. You've got to toss away that old mantra. It's time to have a gray area to live in. And yeah, you can be more black or more white, but you can operate in this gray area and make amazing progress for your body and find a happy, non-deprivation state to stay in. And that's gonna be so important, okay? So, I'm just gonna check in on All right. Cool. Hi, Noelia. Is that how I say it? And if you have any questions, go ahead and toss them in there if I don't get them into the video because I can't really see the comments right now. I will totally comment at the end, okay? So feel free to ask questions if you're hopping on live with me. So let's talk about how to plate it up. This is it. This is so fun. We're just going to call this mealtime. Now, when I first started on this, it felt like I worked with different percentages, right? And then I honed in and found, okay, well these percentages really do work and they're bringing change and I feel better. So what we're gonna see is carbohydrates earlier in the day, and I like to call these fibrous carbs. So if you're like a white toast person, man, it is time to change that. It is time to kick it out. That white bread does nothing for your body, okay? So fibrous carbohydrates. So we've got 50% of our plate, those 50% protein. So an easy one could be, and then like I said, gold stars with veggies, any veggies that you can toss in at breakfast, okay? So an omelet with some veggies, and then our fibrous carbs are going to be, did I talk about this last week? I don't think I did. I will drop a good list of them in the comments below when I'm done. But this is going to be fruits. This is going to be your wheat, your whole wheat products or multigrain. Even some veggies will fall into fibrous carbs. I don't worry about those too much because I just think you're getting so many health benefits with, like, squash could maybe be an actual fibrous carb, the butternut squash. But I'm still going to keep those in the veggies category overall because it just gives you more foods to work with in a good, healthy way, right? So I think the most mind-blowing for people is, oh my gosh, fruits are a carb? Oh man, I'm eating fruit and carbs mainly, and that's like 80% of their diet. So, you know, choose whether you want to have berries at breakfast or a piece of toast and just start to hone in like that, okay? Let's move into a snack. So mid-morning, how do you actually eat a snack? So what I like to do, here's where we're gonna start to aim to get some veggies in. And we're gonna get those fibrous carbs and your protein. I wish I had different color markers because it really helps. Okay, so if we go 50% veggies, now your snack size is going to be smaller. You're going to see this exact same breakout for lunch, but it's going to be bigger portions, right? Because it's a full meal. So a snack, let's say I just packed along a little baggie of carrots. And for my protein and fibrous carb, I actually found a really great protein bar that has a decent amount of carbs and a fiber content to those carbs. And we'll probably talk about that, I don't know, we'll see, maybe today. I know we're running low on time. And then of course has protein in it. So watch your protein bars, check the nutrition labels. A lot of times they are just jam-packed with carbohydrates and have like, yeah, maybe 10 grams of protein, but the carbs are like up in the 30 grams. Okay, that we don't want that. If you're going for a protein bar, make sure your protein grams is the highest listed on the back. Okay, so what I like to do is I'll eat my veggies and then my reward is my protein bar because it's chocolatey and delicious or something like that. Because otherwise I might just hop into that protein bar, get my protein and carbs, and then ditch my veggies or ditch a fresh fruit. You could even use some fruit in here. Like a cucumber or a tomato, those are fruits. Anyway, you can tell I'm in an inner battle with what an actual vegetable is. But moving on to lunch. So our lunch portion, like I said, it's gonna be just the same. 50% veggie. And I've used this example so many times, but it is a very, I'm just going to put fibrous carb and FC, and then 25% protein. Just an open-faced sandwich, or an open-faced burger, or an open-faced whatever. Instead of having all of those carbs, you get to ditch one side of it. I actually made a tuna fish melt the other day, and I have, it's a smaller multigrain bread, and each slice is only 60 calories, and its fiber content is like really high, which is great. So I could have both sides, and I grilled it up, and it was delicious, and I stacked tomatoes and spinach inside, and then with the tuna fish, I like to mix it with just plain Greek yogurt instead of mayo, and some hot sauce and pickles. It was so good, actually. I might go make that today. So, to give you an idea, and then on the side, I just had like an extra salad. So that's how I got veggies into my sandwich. I kept carbs low, and I had fibrous carbs high with it at the same time, right? I had my nice protein. Fish is recommended like at least once a week. So tuna fish or salmon or whatever it is that you like to eat. That's a great way to do it. And then had a little more protein with the yogurt, and had the veggies on the side. So that's a really great balanced plate. So you can imagine if we have our cheeseburger like we're used to, we have our fries, we have a drink, and I did this same example last week, but it's a pretty good visual, and then I don't know what else comes with it. Is that kind of it? Those are all carbs. It's like fat on carbs on salt. And so it's, you know, you get a little bit of protein, but it's mostly carbs. So lunch is a huge one. I feel like if you can lock down lunch, usually your dinner will fall into place as well. Okay? So, do we have room? I'll move this. Just coming around the clock. If you need another snack in the afternoon, and especially if you're going for a calorie deficit, I'd say just pick either your morning snack or your afternoon snack. A lot of times my mornings are fine because I'm satiated with the protein. I've got energy from my carbs. I'm feeling pretty good through the morning. And then my afternoon is where I'm like, okay, I need something. Okay, so I usually like to put my snack in the afternoon, and then it's easier for me to eat veggies too. I don't love raw veggies mid-morning. It's just not what I love. So you find what works for you, for sure. And then this will be the end of the day, and you reset again. For dinner, this can seem a little overwhelming at first, but as you play with recipes, you're gonna find a really great medium, and you'll be able to inch your way towards this. 75% veggies. Wow, can you read that? That's a crazy veggies. 25% protein. Easy would be like a chicken breast, steamed veggies. Salmon, baked veggies. A steak, grilled veggies. Okay, so those are some really easy ones. If you're trying to get a little bit more fancy, last night I actually did a burrito bowl for my family. So I made them rice, and I took like a spoonful, so not a big deal, right? But I made grilled peppers, baked peppers, baked tomatoes, and then I did the meat with some onions in it. And so it was just the veggie base, so I filled my bowl with the peppers on the bottom, and then put the meat on top, and that was basically it. And the tomatoes, oh, so good. And then salsa's a freebie, so I topped it with some salsa. It was really great, and some cheese. Gotta love the cheese. All right, so that gives you a kind of out-of-the-box idea there. Another out-of-the-box idea for inspiration of dinners is if you're used to like a taco night, you could do something similar to the bowl I just described. If you're used to a sloppy joe night, I have done sloppy joes over squash. I've done it over carrots. I've just tried different veggies as the base of that and put the sloppy joes on top. I've loved every single one of it. One that you've maybe done before is zoodles, right? So ditch the noodles, or they even have noodles that are like, they count as a veggie. It's like a, what was it? I don't know. They look green. You'll see them at the store. Maybe that's a good segue. If you love your noodles, try a veggie noodle or a wheat noodle, and then make your way to, all right, I'm ready to try zucchini. I'm a little bit too lazy to actually use a spiralizer. I don't have one. I used to have a handheld one, and I just found if I just slice up my zucchini, give a little pan fry, and then toss the spaghetti sauce on top, it's awesome. It's so yummy. I've also done spaghetti sauce over cooked carrots. So hopefully that just gets your brain going. Cauliflower rice is awesome if you love Chinese meals, or if you want to make a pizza with a cauliflower crust. I've done that. There's so many options, but we just have to step out of that comfort zone, right? You just have to try something new, and you're gonna find ways that you love it. Now, I think a great thing to point out is this is so doable. I've been eating this way for about 3 years now, and I've had a lot of success with a lot of clients in eating in this similar pattern. But you have to be patient with yourself and allow those baby steps, okay? So if you're eating mostly carbohydrates through your day, do I expect you to rock this next week? No, but perhaps you can start to implement more veggies and pick and choose what you love and want to keep so you don't feel deprived. Yeah, I could totally go without my soda, you know? I could totally go without a tortilla at dinner. That's not a big deal. I can make myself a taco salad. Let's ditch the tortilla, okay? So you want to create baby steps for yourself, and that's where it's really great to have that one-on-one chat with my clients, is that I can help them celebrate in the steps that they're making instead of getting so frustrated, and I can help you hone in and find those areas where it's like, okay, ding, and you have the light bulb go. So if you are trying to do this by yourself, I would absolutely recommend journaling. Journaling along with your meals, how they make you feel. If you're able to rock a lunch and then your dinner goes down the hole, journaling and reflecting on how you felt after those 2 meals. You know, were you really heavy, and did you sleep well? What I have found is with your energy, these fibrous carbs earlier in the day and not at night, I sleep better. And I have had twice in the past 2 weeks, and I blame it on the pregnancy cravings, but I've had some like heavier carbohydrate meals, and I'm miserable through the night because my body's just not used to it, and even if it was used to it, it was probably just a really heavy meal to have late at night. You're gonna find more weight loss in the mornings when you step on the scale because you don't have so much densely sitting in there. Your body was actually able to like metabolize more of it, okay? So there's lots of great benefits to just making a switch like this. So your homework for this week is I want you to pick one of these meals. And I'll talk about sugar and carbs next week because we didn't quite get there. So I want you to pick at least one of these meals, but really simplify it. Pick one of them and try to rock that one meal, okay? My last piece of advice, just to get your head around this concept, is, and we'll talk about it more in future weeks, but like if you're going on a celebration or a family dinner, or, I mean, food's a way for us to connect with other people and to have a really tasty life, right? A life without cookies, I don't want any part of. That's my mantra. So anyway, when you know that your dinner is going to be Thanksgiving, okay? I still try to do this for dinner, and this I'll try to put as my lunch. So I'll just kind of swap. What's the word I'm looking for? Anyway, I will swap these 2 meals, and then your body doesn't always know, right? But it's that calorie intake versus deficit over the whole week, over a few days, where your body balances out. So if you know that you're gonna go on a date night and you're like, heck yeah, I'm gonna have like a burrito tonight on my date night. Just try to balance your lunch with that 75% veggie plate, and it's gonna balance out your overall calories for the day, and your body's gonna be able to process the foods really well, okay? If you have a day that doesn't look like this at all, you just start fresh the next day. And again, it's operating in that gray area. It's not you're on a diet, you're off a diet. This isn't a diet to go on. This is a lifestyle change to aim for. And so, again, pick one meal. If you're like, dang, that veggies, that sounds like interesting and a little crazy, I'm gonna start there. Go for it, okay? Salads are a really easy one. And then I give you a bunch of options that you can work off of. And you can email me progress. You can comment below progress. I'd love to hear anything. So, all right, we'll wrap it up for there. So homework, pick one meal and rock it. Okay, you got this. This is my favorite shirt. This is my boot camp shirt. You have to earn this shirt through 21 days of boot camp, but I got this. Put that in your head, add some affirmations. Today, I'm going to fuel my body right, okay? Have an amazing time. I'll see you next week.